I'm going to hit the go live button. And then we're live. So it's time for me to read out for the last time in 2022. You are listening to Let's Go JoJo, the weekly JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
How are you?
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of December the 11th to December the 17th, 2022. With a couple of exceptions, the first one of which is the show that gives the show its name, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 6, Stone Ocean, Episode 27, Sky High, or, if you're on Netflix, Sky Guy.
It's one of those ones they could have got away with if they wanted to name it that, because that's a regular term, but they decided, no, in for a penny, in for a pound, you know.
Sounds like, like a famous novelty skydiver. Look out, everybody! Enter the stadium now. It's the Sky Guy.
The answer is quickly answered that yes, they did allow the child to pilot the helicopter. How
long do you think they were up on that helicopter? 5 minutes? 6 minutes, maybe?
A Joestar should never board an aircraft. This is like much in their family history about this.
Well,
I presume that's why Joseph came to Japan by boat, because it's just like, no, we can't let that motherfucker on a plane. That'll just go very badly.
So the plane will crash. However, you will survive this. And there's also the Joestar airplane curse.
It's expensive, but yeah, you will survive. That's handy enough.
And in this case, it's not her or the Speedwagon's Foundation's aircraft, so they're fine. Yes, they're flying, and all of a sudden, our Imperio cannot keep his eyes open. And Hermes is like, hey, Jolene, he can't keep his eyes open. Turns around, and Jolene's got blood pouring out of her eyes.
I got bigger problems, Hermes. Oh, Jesus.
Hermes is kind of seeing something zipping around, and there's like, there's something flying around in here. We got to get it. And then she's like, no, my eyelids are also drooping, so sleepy. Not actually sleepy, like her eyelids are heavy as if she's sleepy. But yeah.
Moving too fast. We can't get it beating it, especially now we're bleeding out of our eyes. What do we do? Only way we can go is jump straight out, because it's going to dive straight for us. What? Now I'll jump out of the helicopter.
Yeah, you can't, I can't get a hit on it, and it's just like, well, if we jump out of the helicopter, you'll have to fly out of the helicopter after us, whatever this thing is, and you can punch it out of the air, right, Hermes? It's like, right, Hermes? It's like, yeah, but she does manage to punch it out of the air. Unfortunately, there's many of them, lots and lots of them.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're being controlled by a man dressed in either cow print or Dalmatian print.
Cow print.
I would have said Dalmatian print.
Yeah, the reason I went Dalmatian is because he calls himself a dog at some point in the script.
Yeah.
And this is the second one of the three sons of Dio. Rikiel, who is a meek man. He's had a terrible
He has
youth.
had all the health problems.
Yes, but Poochie reveals that he has a stand power after all.
I like the way that this priest comes to visit this invalid young man who's just had all the health problems. He suffers from he can't keep his eyes open. He has breathing trouble. He suffers from panic attacks, etc., etc., etc. Lots and lots of things. And this priest is like, I am here to deliver you to peace, my son. But it's more so Poochie's like, oh Jesus, all his diseases are affecting me. Yeah, get the fuck out there and get the Joestars. Would you fucking just leave me be?
Yes.
Poochie gets stabbed through them. Actually, he doesn't get stabbed through the mouth. One of those things knocks one of his teeth out.
Yes. So he reveals to him that there are creatures such as rods that are invisible to the human eye, but you have the stand Sky High, which allows him to control these rods, which is, I believe Araki saw a program about a Japanese TV crew trying to film Skyfish.
No, they have film footage of it. They have film footage of Skyfish. They're totally real and not an UMA or anything. No.
Yes, a cryptid caused by a photography trick.
They look like a flying penis, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, at least they're a little interesting in this, that they seem to have like little fan wings that they spin around with.
Yeah, they look like flying.
It's a nice thing.
In this, they look a bit like flying Hattie Fatners from Moomin.
Maybe Iraqi was reading that as well.
Yeah, so he can control these rods, and he zips them hither and thither, causing injury to our three heroes. As we get a spot where Obi's gets her hand injured, and she's like, "My hand is rotting," and then Porio's like sitting on the ground, going, "My urine has got blood in it."
At this stage, they've after jumping out of the helicopter, Jolene pulled them back into the helicopter, and then they had to crash land the helicopter by like hanging from a rope like into the swamp. And this prick pulls up on a motorbike, and partway through is like, "Oh no, my motorbike is sinking into the swamp. This was a bad idea."
There's just last payment on that.
Because he veers wildly between super overconfident and very like, "Oh no, everything's going to shit," which is very funny. But yeah, her hand melting and his pee having blood in it. I'm not sure which is more disturbing. I feel like the hand melting, but the fact that you're suddenly peeing blood, even though you're not going for a piss, is probably bad too.
It's just somebody this whips over to phone. It's like, no, what's happening here is what he's just like, clutching his crotch. It's just like, I hate the outside world of the president.
It was nicer in my room. Yeah.
Yes, but luckily, because everyone has declared their injuries, and then when Jolene, her ankle goes, when she tries to step forward to fight Ricky Hill. Yes, Hermes puts together, he remembered reading a book in the room about the various medical conditions caused by a loss of heat to various parts of the body. And he deduces that these rods are draining, basically heat vampires draining the heat out of your body.
Yeah. Because they couldn't figure out how they were attacking you. They weren't touching us or anything, but they are damaging us in different ways. And if you take the heat out of certain different body parts, this is what happens. So I think he figures it out because he had Joestar's, Totaro's disc in his pants, which protected one of his kidneys, but not his other kidney, which caused him to start peeing blood.
Yeah.
A very weird way to figure that out, but yeah.
But I guess that's also foreshadowing for how Jolene survives at the end, is by something covering the vital spot.
Yes. Yeah. It's a good, comes up with a typical, like, Joestar
family tradition
maneuver. Quick thinking maneuver, but saying, so like, anywhere that's my body exposed, so you're going to see the heat from it. And it's like, okay, set myself on fire.
Yeah.
She was like, adopts a pose. It's just like, checkmate, motherfucker. You want it on fire.
Like standing like up to her ankles in a swamp on, like set her own string around her on fire.
But he also feels like, oh, fuck you to Predator as well, because Emporio was suggesting that she hides herself in the mud so it can't detect her heat that way.
Dutch was a wuss, she's a coward.
Yeah. and we get a double fucking checkmate where your man's like, well, knocks over his motorbike, pours petrol on himself, check fucking mate back right at you. Now I'm on fire. What are you going to do? I was like, how is that helping this situation? You can control these. You don't need to be on fire, but all right. It's a pretty fun visual.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then the gets in her mouth when drains away the heat from her fucking a hypothalamus. But now I'm like, you can't even see me moving. Your vision's all fucked up now.
I think he figures this because it's like, well, you're on fire, but you do need to breathe, so you haven't set fire to around your mouth. So you can breathe.
But then Jolene's like, okay, just close my eyes, like the priest is being able to detect me, and I'm sensing the following him. Okay, I'll just use my Joestar detecting ability, and I'll be able to pick him out that way. And she does, and pummels him, and then he grabs hold of her neck, and she carries on pummeling him, and the thing's going.
So he's like, I'm going to grab the back of your neck, extinguishing the flame on it by, using my hands, and therefore they'll know where the back of your neck is because I want to kill you instantly to get something on the spinal column. I can't remember.
You're going to drain the heat out of your medulla oblongata and kill you instantly. So now it's a contest, Jolene.
Can you beat the shit out of me quicker than they can fucking drain the heat out of your brain?
Before we both burn to death? Quite the quandary, isn't it?
Yeah, they went into his hands because that was where the heat wasn't.
Yeah, and also he didn't know because he'd cut off all his own nerves before this point in order to.
Because he was setting himself on fire and he was being pummeled. So two good reasons to turn off all your pain receptors. Yeah.
But yes, but as he's defeated, he's like, okay, this is all because he'd ranted on about evolution earlier on, and he's like, oh, okay, this is
Because they want to take this guy alive as well. It's like, maybe he can answer the questions. And he's like, you got to pummel me to death now before I finish you off, which is very funny. And he still gets a death speech.
It's like, man, if rods can exist, then why not vampires? And why not heaven? I mean, it all adds up, man. That's why I did it, man.
And this guy's really into the Apollo program, which totally suits the theme.
Yeah, forgot about his speech which ends in him screaming Apollo 11. Yes, so yeah, he's getting pounded. He explains, though, that Weather Report is Poochie's younger brother. He's like, if he broke out of prison, it wasn't to save you, it's because he's destined that... So, like, why did Poochie just remove his memory, not kill him? So he's got plans for him, and so therefore destiny has set him on the way to meet his brother. And Hermes then just knocks him unconscious. He's like, yeah, don't believe that. The only reason that priest exists is for us to beat the shit out of him.
And it is the thing of like, it's like, hey, did you know that me covering up the back of your neck would cause them to go into Mina's? And Jolene's like, nah, total fucking fluke. And you have, the kid kind of going, it's like, is it destiny or is it like luckiness, or is her luckiness actually necessary for the priest's plan? Like he said before he died in a swamp on fire. And I do like the ending thing. I was like, he's out of commission, he's retired, but the rods are at large. Watch out, motorbikers who don't wear helmets.
Still out there. That's a real like X-Files ending, Maybe they're still out there, Hermes. I don't know. There's things in this world we can't understand.
So what's next week is... Next week's episode is
heavy weather, or is it no? There's one more dude in between. I forget when he comes.
Time for heaven. 3 days until the new moon.
Yeah, I think it said that at the end of this episode as well, or something like that.
That's the next episode.
Ding ding.
I could have seen them drawing this to like 2 episodes, but I'm glad they kind of crammed it all in here because it was a lot, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it was well paced, this episode.
Oh yeah, they got bringing like the third son first before we get the Cape Canaveral. That's it.
And yeah, Sky High Stand is like a little bug which sits on his wrist.
Yeah, it looks like a rhinoceros beetle or something.
It looks a bit like the Kronos bug, which gives him the vampire powers in the Kronos film.
Oh right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
With a Leoki Bob,
Yeah.
This steals your life force, after a fashion.
Yeah.
So
Good episode. As I was watching this, I was still thinking like, I still think 4's the best one. I remembered it's like, 4's the best one is because partly the story, but I think for Diamond is Unbreakable, it's that they made the character designs work better. They changed them to make them work better in animation, whereas 5 and 6 feels like they've tried to hew a little too close to the comic designs. So
they had Terumi Nishi back then, which now they don't, I think.
Yeah.
Why? Because there was a bit of a falling out there, I understand.
That's unfortunate, yeah.
Then we got to Tatami Time Machine Blues, episode 5. What appeared to be the last episode, except there's another episode after this.
I was thinking that towards the end of this. I was like, wait, they're wrapping this up. They seem to be wrapping everything up. They certainly have wrapped everything up. And then it's like, nope, there's still another episode. And I was like,
yeah, I think that might be the extra material that's not in the movie.
It's the extra bonus thing, yeah. This is the story about my friend / arch fucking nemesis Ozu.
Everyone's favorite prick.
As I predicted, yes, the main character of this is indeed the remote control, and this 15 minutes wraps up exactly the timeline of the remote control.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you do want to watch the remote control gonzo cut of the thing, this one lays it fucking out as to what order you need to watch things in, to watch it in the correct order. Yeah. This is the story of a brave remote control who traveled back in time only to die eventually at the start of this show. Yeah. That's
essentially it. The question is, they think everything's wrapped up, and then I gets out a whiteboard and explains, no, not everything is wrapped up, because currently
You got a break here.
there's a loop. There's a
They're missing the remote control from the future that they gave us to destroy in the past. We get the swamp one. We should. The dog dug it up. The dog was also an important character.
Yes.
It turns out. Yeah.
and they built the statue exactly where he'd emerged from the swamp 90 years ago, and that is where the remote control, of course, was. I really like the bit where they're unraveling the thing where he just goes to live action cling film, but with animated hands.
Yeah, that was nice because that cling film covered in muck for 99 years. It's going to be very difficult to animate in the style they're doing. Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, okay, this settles it. Then we can redraw the timeline. Everything's sorted. We replace the batteries in this, and it works. Tamora heads home. They're all going to go out.
We also learned the secret that your men's room was already chill.
Yes.
It's filled with garbage, but it is nice and not balmy. Yeah.
We also have to explain where the eye. They're like, oh, we have to go back and get eye. He says, no, you don't have to go back and eye because I've been hiding in this cupboard for 2 days.
I've been hiding in this cupboard for the course of the entire series of events.
I got here a long way.
Yeah.
Where we get to see like little
slow time travel
clips of things he'd seen that we hadn't seen yet.
But also from a cupboard. Them wrapping up the remote control with cling film was very funny.
Yeah.
And I found your missing glasses. The one guy who wasn't time traveling this whole time.
Because he forgot that, so he goes back and then realizes Tamura's left his bag in the room. Tamura's come back for his bag. It slips open, and he sees that he's got the same
weird
squeezy
charm
toy that Arashi has, and so
actually their first meeting where it's like snow angel step, snow angel step, and it's just like he was immediately enamored with this. Look at the brave determination on this. It's like, look at the fucking idiocy of this moron is what he didn't see. But yeah, so that's his ma'am, the time traveler's ma'am, and he's like, that's not even my real name, so you don't fucking know. It's like, but who's your dad? It's like, nah, you gotta forge your own path, mister. Like, you're too fucking schlubby to say a cool guy line like that. And even the annoyance of this guy is like, this is all this guy's fault. I cannot bring myself to hate him. I wonder why. I wonder if it's any blood relation reason. Yeah.
And then
These guys are all right.
Yeah. And then they all go out for a post-filmmaking meal and time-traveling meal.
No, we saved the universe. Like, they all have claimed credit for saving the universe, even though it's like, it's just me and your one that fucking basically worked out this whole plan to fix causality.
And then she wonders whether they needed to do anything anyway, whether everything would have just worked out.
Because despite all those guys dicking with the timeline entirely, everything did work out. So maybe time is like a pre-written book, but we get to read it one page at a time, and therefore it feels like freedom. And he's like, oh man, I wonder who ends up being that guy's dad. Is it some prick who swoops in at the end? It's you fucking moron.
And then he basically explains
brags
at the end.
about it. Yeah.
I'm not going to brag about that. It's like, bragging about fucking getting the girl. It's like, no, that's not a thing that would be cool.
Yeah, a terrible story if somebody spent the rest of the story bragging about their romantic conquests.
Which basically kind of says that he did. Yeah. So.
And she has another funny bit. It's like, it's the remote control that leapt through time, and then gets embarrassed at her stupid joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good story. It's let's shove all the characters in into a story which was a different bunch of character story previously.
Just let it happen to them.
Yeah.
So I like after what was settled, that's always the thing with time machine plots that fun. The time machine, you get a lot of time in the world. No, you keep rushing around and panicking and things. That then everyone say, no, that's done. Fine, save the universe, just go out and squid out on the pub. And then it's all this very, very, very leisurely kind of jaunt around. We're kind of just stopping around and just to fuck around the river for a bit. And we'll get to the pub. We're on the way. Just like, yeah, man. Why fun be a fun in a time machine, wishing your time away? Just fun be enjoying it right now. It's one of those like summer evenings now where it's like it seems to just be like sunset for hours and hours and hours. It was a nice little thing. Everyone said, "Oh yeah, it's just like it's like rather than think about the future or ponder the past, just like savor the now, man. It's cool."
That's kind of the point that they're going with. I also appreciated your man. What was the old guy who's always been a student but has never graduated?
Yeah.
Iguchi like handing over the remote control and it's like, oh, thanks, senpai. I'm glad you're the guy who said that to me. I was like, does he die when they tear down this place? Is he like some sort of yokai haunting?
No, he's still there in 25 years.
Yes.
No, but they are going to tear the building down in 25 years. Is the other thing, and I'm
we
like, where
briefly
does he go then?
We briefly see the old one of him. He is older in the future. He's not ageless.
Yeah. Us see bit no, we're like, oh, maybe he's a Tengu after all. That's all the thing about it before saying, is he?
Yes, because of course he could be, because they do live in a town where there are a bunch of yokai in a different series by the same author. So yeah, in a year's time, you'll be able to read the book of this in English. You can read Tatami Galaxy in English right now. I forgot that had come out. You can get it in Kindle, audiobook, hardcover, paperback, and audio CD. As well as watching.
Is it the same voice actors acting it out?
I doubt it. I don't even know if it has a dub.
It would be expensive.
Does Tatami Galaxy have a dub? I can't remember if it does or not. I've got it, but I would have never choose to listen.
I have it out there, but I'm not going to go out there.
No.
Yeah.
Let's presume.
Yeah, I don't know. If
I definitely don't.
If I click through this, will it take me to the Audible? I have 4 Audible credits. I could get it. I know it's shorter than the TV series because I think it only has 4 time loops as opposed to the 11 or so there are in the TV and the extended OVAs. But yeah, HarperCollins put that out, and I think the plan is for the sequel next year. Yeah, and one more episode of this, which we will talk about in the new year, which I realize is going to be a massive episode. Due to how much time I'm taking off over Christmas.
Yeah.
Big.
It might be better to divvy it up into 2 nearly or something, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Then we got Pui Pui Molcar Driving School. Who's that girl?
Who's that fucking badass eye patch, fucking long locks flowing in the fucking breeze guinea pig?
That Cher. Don't get too close to her. She's got a troubled past. She works alone.
She's a pro. She drives like a pro. Get out of her way in the driving school.
You can kind of squeak over these hurdles like no one's business.
So is like the driving school like not like a dog pound, but like a lost and found for Molcar kind of situation.
I guess it is.
Adoption home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did notice it is a different director, a different writer than the first series. It's the other guy's like the chief director, I believe. I think it's a lot. I think also Uchu people are working on this season of it in some form.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what they're doing. But more of them on the next episode. Because they do show up in Pop Team Epic, episode 12. So I did get what I wanted almost. What's the other Molcar in this one?
It's the main driving school one.
The new one,
the new one. Yeah.
Peter is his name.
Right, okay. So he's very interested in this new car and helping it sort out its trauma. And I was like, when you see the flashback and they're playing ball with the wife and kid and the dad, and they're just like, there's gonna be some horrible accident with the family. It's like, no, it just got injured getting the ball, it seems.
And they just got bored and walked off. Left me for dead.
The little plastic toy people, they don't have much like memory. It's fine. Yeah.
The charm point apparently of Cher is the beautiful silver fur according to the website. It's a high brand model known to those in the know. That's your information on the Molcar introductions on the molcar-anime.com website.
So
here at Share on More Vintage, we make sure to traumatize every Molcar we produce to the highest efficiency.
But it's mostly Peter trying to get to know Cher, and like even though she's very serious, she does find a family who will play football with her again. So it all works out. She gets adopted. I'm not exactly sure how this school works.
It's more like like Molcar adoption home / like secondhand car dealership.
Yeah. Because we had that one who showed up the last time with a plush of a car she then bought or adopted. I'm not exactly sure how it works. Yeah.
This school is corrupt. They just fucking say, "Oh, you gotta come back here because you've got to tear up your license. You gotta come back here and earn it again." You know, if you don't fucking do it, we're gonna set off your car. Like, this is fucking completely disingenuous. What kind of laws exist here?
Yeah, it's Hana Ono from Uchu People is the director of this series.
Okay.
Why all the soft focus they were doing.
Yeah, which probably explains why there's only one sketch from them in Pop Team Epic this season.
Okay.
They're time to make.
Yeah, it's a good one though. It's better than all the episodes of Poo Poo and Molcar Driving School. But there we go. Then it's Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun, Season 3, Episode 10, The Iruma I Know, in which Iruma eats all the points that his team has accumulated.
Well, I mean, like, he'd already done that. It's more so he realizes, wait a minute, have I eaten all our score? It's like, yeah, basically.
Yes. And then Lee's like, you must have had this plan to go and get, what's the Legendary Leaf? Is that what it's called?
Legend Leaf.
Legend Leaf. And the narrator's like, yeah, Iruma decided to go along with this. Yes, we're going to get the Legend Leaf.
Can't say no to anybody.
They do point out, like, a lot of the teachers and stuff are like, oh, this kid's fucking good. They've scored nothing on the first day, but a lot of people wash out on the second day because they're knackered from the first day. And so it's kind of like, yeah, he's playing the long game on this. It's like, no, the first day's a wash. I'm going for the Legend Leaf is what I'm going to claim my plan was the whole time.
Guaranteed max points.
Yeah.
So they figure out that, the animals will know where the Legend Leaf is, but we have no way of talking to the animals. No way of talking to the animal. No. And then they see an animal which has a similar shaped head to Camry.
I mean, again, it has one eye, but yeah, yes. I guess it is wide and fluffy, so close enough. It's some sort of one-eyed cat that lives in a tree. I'm not exactly sure what the fuck that would be.
They go and find Kamui, and they're made to bow down to the Queen, and they will be allowed to ask the animals questions about the location if they give up a secret or something they don't know.
They have to give her an offering to present to the Queen to show your loyalty, and we don't just give stuff away for free. So they give away what was the key information? Oh, that the two girls are using seduction to steal points. Yeah.
Now dance for me.
Yeah.
Now dance for your queen. And I like the logic of, is like, she's been under a lot of fucking stress lately, as have they all. So she's very close to her evil cycle, and she is an idol fan. So if you two dress as idols and put on a fucking show for me and my animal kingdom, then I'll calm the fuck down.
Yes. And thankfully, they're like, no, of course we will. And then, their training being forced to dress as maids has paid off. And
I like how not good at singing Led is. It's like he's not doing the thing like Iruma, where it's just like, Iruma can actually fucking belt a tune out pretty well.
We can't all get cast with an actor with that kind of range, now can we?
No, but it works. It works. Like,
and it's fine. It's Bob's Burgers singing, where it's within the range of the actor or the character's voice in this case. I was thinking about this. Like, why do I like Bob's Burgers in the Great North more than I like Central Park? I was like, because they write the songs in Great North and Bob's Burgers for people who aren't professional singers, whereas Central Park, it is all musical performers pretty much. So they're all like a too high a level for me. I like it when it's achievable within my range.
You want karaoke levels, not professional musician.
And then not only do they get to sing and dance, then the animals in their reply also do a song and dance in order to...
we'll give you the information in the form of a riddle.
Yes.
And I like Cam, who's like, I've written down the stanzas for you so you can figure it out later.
Yes. And then meanwhile, this is making... I can never remember her name. The botany teacher, the one who goes yes all the time. She's very excited.
Oh fuck, they're on the right track, and all the rest of them is like, oh yeah, that's the trick about it. And we even have the student council and the student council president going around saving people because the teachers are wrecked from the first day of saving students. And she's like, yeah, I fucking scored max points on that, but I was looking for that fucking leaf and I couldn't find it because I learned the trick of it afterwards, but it is kind of bullshit because according to the animals poem, it's a thing that doesn't exist yet, but you can make it exist. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, that is kind of tricksy.
You
All
have
right,
to find
yeah.
a plant pot and a seed, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff about divorce and a mother-in-law that doesn't
Yeah, there's
really
some
make much
complicated
sense.
family stuff, but I'm guessing it's a metaphor for how you take care of it. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah.
I think it sounds like it's referring to like a big rock or location. So it's like, hey,
Hmm.
there's the mother rock and the child rock, but here's like what was a mother-in-law rock in that mix as well,
Mm-mm.
or something like that.
Yeah, the second half is Amory and the student council, and it's like, oh, the student council all like Aruma as well, but then Amory actually admits to one of them that she does actually fancy Aruma.
Well, she sort of goes to Emery. It's just like, you fancy him, don't you? It's like, well, like, yeah, but don't make a big deal about it.
Does everybody know? No.
I mean, like, we are your closest friends, technically. So yes, we do know.
Then in the end, it turns out that somebody is running the book on the Harvest Festival.
Everyone who's been kicked out has hopped in a tent and are, betting on people.
There's been a cryptic narration for saying that the rumor class teams seem to be doing pretty all right. They couldn't hire their own points, but they're doing great as well. However, one of the teams will be out of the ring by the end of the day. But I'm saying, oh my god, what's gonna happen? They'll get beaten up. No, it's just like Jazz and
Yeah, I'm just
Jazz
looking
and
up his
Jazz and the
name.
Lion Man.
Andro. No, Andro's his brother. Alaka is.
Alaka.
Yeah.
But it's like, the one the bookie is right there for saying, oh, students, baby, we got to put that point. Say, no, hold on. Before we do that, we got a bit of pocket money to put down. I said, no, students responsible for this. And the two lads back there on lunch break fun. Oh, got some back at that. I said, no, you probably spend a lot more money doing this than the other thing.
It seems like next episode we're going to find out how they quit, basically. So, yeah.
Yes, the narrator's like, how did they get here? And then the Tsukima is them wondering if who might win it instead of Iruma. Well, this girl Aiko, she's very good. She moves very fast through the jungle.
She's got the moves for sneaking around and scoping the scene and stuff, and it's like she's being praised for the things that Amory hates that she does in regular life.
Yes.
Yeah.
We see her briefly in the main episode because I guess she was with the dragon girl because they weren't, neither of them showed up into the what's his face's bed.
Yeah, when we get the score bracket, those guys have this many points, and also presumably all the points of everyone who's in his bed and he's minding. At least they're going to have to give him a bit off the top, like
The rent per night.
Yeah.
Then next on the list is Spy Family, episode 23, The Unwavering Path, in which we continue with our sort of modern shonen jump sports manga before it then turns into a 1970s sports manga towards the end.
It just goes completely nuts. And it's just that it was like, God, I'm just kind of bored of the cheap tricks now. They brought in the pressure pass, they brought in like they fund the fans trying to deflect the ball to lower
the sniper,
sniper in the vent. Fun like the ball boy and ball girl in on as well, but we're fucking getting taken out as well. Fucking ball to the kidneys.
I was thinking it was just like there's not really much left in this tennis tournament. How much are they going to get out of this? Kind of like nearly check my watch beforehand, but they managed to get loads of fucking really sweet jumping around, flipping animation fun. So that's nice.
If anything, all this stuff is be like no, because they're improving their game for and saying, wow, they're going like a wild style. And Nerdy on 20 so he was getting over a hangover. His wife felt so woozy. I guess they got a little bit of that fucking thing running through their system. It was acting crazy.
And your man has to, like, when he hits I think Lloyd hits one of the rubber bullets into the guy's kidney. It's just like, sorry, I drank some bad milk earlier, and he's been fucking playing tennis with an upset stomach. My God, these guys are so talented. Imagine them on a good day. Yeah.
We'll smash it down like 6 games to nothing, win the set. This against the odds, who done it? It's like all of our cheating, we couldn't do it. That's okay because the cheating isn't part of who you are. Like, fun. I think you put your mind, you could be a real pro. Tex, it was a great match. It's like, well done, Twilight. You find $4. I love you so much.
You've not only won the day, but you've converted our enemies. And even the guy up there who's lost a shitload of money on his kids losing is just like, I guess my son's becoming a man.
That's not Twilight for you. I'm not even just going for the mission complete, but also going for the moral victory. Comprehensive.
And now, please, can we quickly get our prize before anybody discovers it? That it will lead them to this information which may re-inflame the conflict.
They did point out that they could, I think she pointed out that they could have just informed the umpire, hey, those guys are cheating in several different ways. It's like, yeah, but this is their dad's running the tournament, and also we don't want the tournament to be cancelled. We need to win this prize. We can have anything in the catalogue. This one. It's like, can't have that one. Sorry, the government's coming to pick it up. It's like, oh, that's a bit of a bugger. Yeah.
Give me these then. Can I see them though? Real close though? And saying, all right. Hey, buddy, get that painting ready. Okay, yeah, you got it.
Twilight's not here. It's like, why isn't that? It's like, oh yeah,
He's
Mr.
sleeping it off.
Is has an upset, yeah, because he still has the hangover. He's sleeping in the thing, and totally not one of these guys in disguise.
Yep, hand it off. That's the painting, all right. And then like, that's great. They're out of here. We drive home. And then well, I see your husband's not here. That's okay. I'll pick him up. Then here comes like the picture handler for the audience. This private with the mask. Yeah,
I did appreciate that under his mask he had his not his forged
his other disguise.
His other disguise. Yeah. A mask on a mask nearly, but it was a mask on a wig. Whatever.
Do it like seconds while they're going between doors, entering and exiting the room to change all over. It's seconds to do that. I couldn't remember how it went down. I thought he was inside her gear pack. I had to bring brought into the room.
Just fold it up.
Curl up really tight.
Dear.
Turns out, yes, there was some juicy information in here. It's the location and the coordinates and the combination and the record of this retired colonel's knowledge of all of the beautiful actresses, whose numbers and pictures that he has. He's not into in a weird way at all.
No, his wife said, if you don't fucking get rid of those, I'm divorcing you. And it's like, I can't get rid of. They're collectibles. They're very fucking like. These are highly sought after by specifically not creepy individuals, all right? So I'm just going to put them in storage and not tell you about it to protect the peace of my marriage. And he did. He did protect the peace of his marriage. And I guess the world was never in danger. And I think the Cold War might be mostly over, but you guys don't fucking know it yet. But we'll see.
The Cold War is mostly bullshit, Yeah. It was all but nothing. That's still a judgment that they went for a different thing. You get the painting, what do you take? This weird pot and these gaudy rings. Give them to the boss. And then when we get the deep things, it's like, said, here's our announcement of that fucking code you got, Twilight. And she has a ring.
She's wearing the gaudy rings, yeah. And I also appreciated that the handler was in on the wife's side. It's like, why would he fucking keep those creepy photos? And the other guy who's working in the office is like, they're fucking collectibles. What are you talking about? They have the male and female difference of opinion continues to complete fucking strangers in this strange government officials relationship. Yeah.
Before we get to that, though, we have a showdown between Fiona and Yor at tennis.
They're still practicing outside. She was going to drop them off at the park, so she's not driving up because people get rang up for being spies, for being infidelity and stuff. So drop me off at the park. Oh, they're still playing tennis, and she's like, "Fucking right." Roll sleeves up. I challenge you to tennis to see who would make the best wife. Yor implicitly understands this and accepts.
So yes, Yor serves, and she puts too much strength into it and slices the ball into cubes.
Little smidges. It's gotta do it for Lloyd, okay? Gotta show him what I'm made of, and this is fun. This jets it fun down. And there's nightfall is fun. Stand firm, even though you couldn't tell. If I don't get out of the path of the tennis ball, I'm going to be killed.
Yeah. Yes, because she's like, it's going out of bounds, but if I don't do anything, I'm gonna. Yes, and so she blocks it with a tennis racket, and then breaks the tennis racket, and then she admits defeat. But she will go away and train, and they'll have a rematch.
She's going to train in the mountains, scaring all the local wildlife.
Yes, because the final shot
tennis.
is she's made like a tennis rackets out of stone and is training them.
And it says she's still up there.
Yes, absolute daftness. Final episode next week, but we already know we're getting a second season and a film. So,
yep, good news.
Yeah. Well, they kind of leave it up in this little kind of note and saying, "Yeah, Lloyd, mission accomplished, but did you consider your fake wife's feelings and all this? Now she might be feeling pretty inadequate and kind of down right now." And it's oh shit. Part of like being like the fake marriage is you gotta take care of the actual marriage part of it as well. This isn't just about appearances, I gotta make sure like everyone's feeling like well looked after here.
And again, we get all the internal thoughts during the tennis tournament, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah.
But it's more funny when we get the internal thoughts and you see a small child looking up at them, obviously hearing the internal thoughts. That makes it funnier. It just does, yeah.
Then we got... It's also funny when you remember that the narrator is the same voice as Bond. And you're like, did he somehow foresee this? And he's commented on the events of the tennis match. Me and Roboco... No, Pop Team Epic before we get to me and Roboco. Too excited. Pop Team Epic, Series 2, Episode 11, Boomer Team Epic. We start with Space Neko Company, where some animals are getting excited because apparently there's a thick MILF beast girl making out with a robot shooter.
I gotta take the chance. I don't care
Some
if it's a
depraved
chance.
shit going on here. Gotta have a look.
That's a pretty funny opener, yeah.
And then it's question mark again.
It's a studio crocodile.
Studio, I mean, it says it in the credits, yeah. Boomer Team Epic.
Yeah. This is like I didn't expect this crowd to turn up at all. It's kind of nice, but said, she old wacky TV, nah, looking weird little paper man.
It makes sense though, because I suspect the ground they laid in the aughts has allowed Pop Team Epic to exist.
Yeah.
And it is Satoshi Fumihara directing it. And I was like, oh. I was also, because some of the stuff later on where I was like, I did not get the references, I was like, yeah, I feel like this is more aimed at people my age than the rest of Pop Team Epic necessarily is. It's a slightly
With the amount of
different pace.
Fortnite references, it's definitely going for a younger audience a lot of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so in this one, the girls are middle-aged manzai comedians.
Mm-hmm. Male manzai comedians as well, yeah.
And they're showing up to a TV studio. There's a reference to on-air Dedekai... Dekinai. Yeah. The last series from the same director as Pop Team Epic, because that had a cat as an assistant director. And there's a cat assistant director, except in here, it just meows at them.
Yeah, all the people working in the studio are just like various animals. Just go like, or woof.
Yeah,
they don't
comedians
say anything.
as well.
Pigeons.
That's true.
Yeah, and they're a little... Popoco's grumpy that she's got to share a green room with Peepabee. They're sort of standoffish, not having a proper conversation. And then they're interrupted by, is it Panty and Boner, the monkey comedians?
Mm-hmm.
They keep getting the name wrong, which makes me forget what their fucking name is.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously that gets referenced when they... so they say they brought them a gift of Osaka Granny's panties and generally make a pest of themselves, but then they're like, let's go and see what's in this box. And they're like, it'd be funny if it was actually panties. But no, it's a bun, and they vaguely remember the box, and then it casts their mind back 35 years ago when they were just starting out.
Because like the way it is in the green room, they're not standoffish, but they're saying it's like, hey, did you say you like snowboarding? It's like, no, never.
Yeah,
never
it's like
it
feels like they've stopped
like they don't know
talking to
each other anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just show up together to perform and don't have a friendship anymore. And then the taste of the bun.
The cheap taste of the bun.
Casts their mind back to when they were struggling, just like Panty and Boner, and people couldn't get their names right.
They threw bottles at them. They ended up terribly injured.
Yes. But the taste of that bun kept them going 35 years later. And it just ends. It's just a nice plaintive story about stand-up comedians.
And I like the way it's kind of changed at the end. It's not that they don't know each other anymore and they're not friends anymore. It's just that they've known each other so long they've nothing to say to each other.
They've run out of
kind of old friendship. Yeah.
I've come to the end of my personality. I think that's a Quentin Crisp quote. I appear to have come to the end of my personality. And then it's Kamikaze Doga with Peepabee threatening to tickle Popoco and then tickling Popoco 4 times.
In different animation styles.
Yes. And I watched it and I was like, I cannot wait for the male voice one of this. Because I knew who was doing the male voices. And they were pretty much doing the male voices in the style of their most popular characters. So it was even better. Then more Kamikaze Doga. Popoko wishes she had a shiitake mushroom log. She turns to Peepamy and then discovers that Peepamy's not in the room with her. It's a shiitake mushroom log. Thank you, Peepamy. And then in like a inset, a mushroom and Peepamy are saying no problem. And the second one, similar sketch where she thinks Peepamy is but it's actually a torpedo, and then she kills Poseidon.
I did like the variation on the male one with the mushrooms, where it's just like, "Hey, Roboco, over here! I'm in this bubble." Just like, yeah, that's a different way to take it, but yeah.
Then Akbu, a policeman runs into an interrogation room, and then he ends up getting interrogated by the girls instead.
And also, not only is he out of his jurisdiction, but they're out of his jurisdiction to bring him in. So I think they get brought in. Not sure.
It's very confusing. Yes, they want to know what prefecture he's from, and he's from Canada.
Give him a rice bowl and bow on your way out.
Then Peepamy is impressed to see a real pro gamer, and this is where I did not get the Fortnite default dance reference.
Sure.
Then a couple of ones which feel like they were made by animators, particularly they played the Look That Way game, but in 2D, so their 3D models break when Peepamy has to look in a certain direction. And then in the second one, Peepamy is trapped inside a vector box and then tries to get her out of this with the free transform tool and completely deforms her. And then the end credits is done by an animator who I did not know, but apparently all the young people know. Kevin Gemin KK Flipnote is his online name.
It's a bit wordy. Can we shorten it up a little bit?
Where it's the same old song, but this time it's the girls as various animals who are flipping the audience off, but their hands are censored.
But and the first one, because it's a pair of birds, it looks like they're censoring a pair of bouncing tits on each of the girls. And a few of the other animals, I was just like, no, those are definitely hands, because that's where hands are on a bear. So yes. I'm pretty sure that's right. But it still looks wrong.
Yeah, it looks worse because they've censored the hands. Yes.
Yeah.
So the first part is the some K-On actresses who also point out that you could, instead of buying this Blu-ray, you could have bought a Blu-ray of the voice actress unit Sphere. It's a bit odd that we're in our 30s and still singing about our school uniforms. And the second half, it's Kiryu Majima pretty much doing their Kiryu Majima voices.
What more could you want?
Especially in the tickling sketch.
Yeah. Like, because people can like rip the models from a game and actually animate them, exactly that's gotta be easy enough to do, right? We'll see.
Especially because, like, as Peepamy is doing a lot of fun. Boop-book-a-chan. All of that.
And then that's it until the last episode, which we will watch in the new year. Though some of us may have watched it already.
I've seen like enough bits of it to know what to expect, but start how it finished.
Okay.
To my conclusion.
It's quite the thing.
Okay. Something to look forward to.
Yeah. It's certainly quite the thing. It was more divisive than I was expecting it to be. Then it is, he says, looking for his notes. Me and Roboco. Maid and Roboco. God, there's only 3 minutes. What happened in it? Oh, they point Gachi Gorilla and the other kid.
Motsuo.
Yeah, I've learned the phrase for these guys. It's like he fits in the kid's general role, and then the phrase for the other character is great. It's like the kid's general's waist purse or something like that is what it translates to.
Okay.
Yeah.
One bag.
Especially like it's a sycophant character. It's like, because I was looking at this up, you've got your main character, you've got the Madonna character, the Kid General, and the Kid General's waist purse. Those are like the Doraemon characters that occur
those
again and again in multiple things. Yes. So like,
these guys continue to be the bullies who are really trying to look out for Bondo.
Yes. And of course, this episode weirdly feels slow because last week they adapted 37 pages into 3 minutes. This time they're only doing 15 or 16. It's
It's a more sensible amount, but yeah, it was much slower. Again, still very, very fast, like wham, wham, wham with the jokes, just not as quick.
Yeah. It's certainly this is like a lot of the things. Just comparing the Maid, when Mako is a Papa Road Mage, this is all things so eloquently and cutely. When how does Roboco do it? Like a Dragon Ball character, she's kind of flying at you with the aura, like inflating around her. And I don't know how that works so well. Because you're getting that as well. I kind of look at it, also get like the sound effects you associate with seeing that in there as well.
Yeah,
no and it does it particular there.
It does a good job of displaying, at least between Gachi Gorilla and Bondo, but the whole thing of just like, sorry, Gachi Gorilla, that Roboco grabbed you by the head and tried to kill you. It's just like, can you ever forgive me? It's like, yeah, absolutely, I can forgive you. It's just like, fucking sound out.
Nice. No, a hive of bees. This one floating around us. Mako help upon saying sorry. Larger box, it cannot harm a sentient organism.
Roboco, lasers. Absolutely, I can kill things.
That's just doing that in the program and saying, wow, buddy, Roboco is actually pretty good after all. We beat the whole wrong day, but you're actually a pretty cool dude. Thanks, guys. Roboco, stop
killing the bees. Yeah. Leave those bees alone.
Yeah, she's killing hornets.
The credits is going,
for about 15 seconds of the of this 3-minute show. Is just Roboco killing insects.
Yeah, it's still really good. So
let's kick it off. Just like we know that there's just so much you kind of can pack into any given week, and how this bizarre thing that goes on, and how many times as well. Because we've got to do this so many times now. The chapters, Bondo forget to jump didn't come out this week, and it just completely throws off his complete mental state, and everybody has to work together, and they make that fresh every time they do it.
I was going to say they could do that in upcoming episodes because there is a double issue this week, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Because that's what it was about this week.
The double really fucks him. Yeah,
the chapter was a true to life look at the offices of Shonen Jump in this week's chapter.
Editors look at the inside of Shonen Jump offices.
We haven't even got.
You may think it's weird, but yeah,
we haven't got to the gag of every single adult character being captioned as being 20 years old. Even though some of the things they say makes no sense that they could be 20 years old.
Like the main character who's showing us is a character who'll show up, I assume, eventually, called Mr. Second Year, who's been there 4 years now, even though it's his second year at all times, and that's literally his name.
Yes.
Dude's been like hiking, living in the mountains all his life. Every inch of it. He's been there for 50 years. He's 20 years old.
Yeah. It makes me feel extra old. Thanks, Roboco. But no, this is good. Why didn't anyone fucking pick this up? Why do I gotta watch this illegally? I don't fucking know. It's not fair.
Who knows? I don't know. Let's see whether Crunchyroll do Egyptian Gods Season 2.
Yeah.
Then Mob Psycho 100, Part 3, Episode 11, Mob 3, Trauma. Yeah, this is the one where I was like, I watched this while I'd bonked my head, and then I came today and I was like, did I watch Mob? And I switched it on, and I was like, I did watch this.
Your other personality, is all your suppressed desires, like manifested into a sentient being of itself.
He watched the episode
it for you.
Yeah.
Yes. And finally, I can watch it at the volume I like with the dubber. Like, oh no! Depraved.
It's kind of like a thing of two parts. We got a father-son reunion / apology, forgiveness, character growth kind of thing, which I thought worked pretty well. Yeah, team up as well. The dad jumps out of a fucking airplane. The two guys have been beaten up at the convenience store, has been exploded. Oh no, whoever shall save us? It's the boss. It's like, oh, boss. It's like, I see you're fine upstanding citizens now. Back away. I'll take care of this. And starts punching the shit out of Mob. To no effect, basically. But you got to start somewhere. He's trying to get a reaction out of him so he can absorb the psychic energy thrown at him. Because he, like you said before, Niall, he has not charged up for several years for this fight.
But he's still he's going all forward. He's getting the young lad in and out as well. But because spectacular action sequences notwithstanding, it's just having no effect on him, and I can't even get through to him to reach him now because we've had because he had that whole thing where he kind of fucking just talk to me like that. Maybe I can do the same thing, but no, there's nothing there. I can't communicate it with it. So I'm gonna hold him on hold, kind of blow up or some shit. And I just kind of want to say you were never fun dare for me, and when you dare for me, you're trying to take over the world with psychic powers. just kind of think, well, I consider this like, fun. In his mind, thinking, I'll just sacrifice myself, I make up for all that, but saying, nah, like it wouldn't matter. I would kill myself for nothing, and I can't make any amends for this. So fun saying, son, carry me out of here. Let's just fuck this.
Let's run away.
Get the fuck out of here. But he says the point is he won't gain anything. All he'll do is just traumatize his son. He's always traumatized all his life, because he does want to, like, I think.
I like
maybe not going straight and narrow, but he wants to like
to build something rather than take it away. Because I like the visual of him like walking up to Mob, like, I'm gonna blow myself up in front of this kid, and maybe that'll slow him down a little. But then in comparison to him walking out on his wife and kid, and he's just like, I can't do this again. I'm not that man anymore. I can't walk away and leave my son again. So he's like, son, let's run away. We can't win this. So let's just fucking get out of here. Which is like a very mature character growth response from him, even though it's kind of done very sillily. Yeah,
but also they point out it's like, oh, we'll try and live normally, and that's what he's been trying to do. So it's like they got in to stop him.
The kid is refusing to use his psychic powers, except obviously in an emergency like this.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, except because he bottled it all up, and now this is the result of him bottling it all, of him trying to live normally. Is this?
Okay, again, saying like, I chose when rampant with my power to take over the world. I thought that was like the natural like expression of that. Or this is my kind of right of him, and saying no, he didn't. He chose not to, and that's an even like even bigger like way of taking fighting himself. Whatever about trying to take over the world, that's way harder.
Yeah.
Then it's the Body Development Club try and stop him.
I mean, they don't get far, but God loves a trier, yeah.
they have to do it fun. This is their boy. They gotta try it.
I think this was the most threat though, because obviously these guys literally they have impressive muscles, but only their muscles against this almighty psychic might. And one of them nearly gets brained on a bridge.
Yeah, it's the smart one. The one who's intelligent. Yeah, I know. The one who always gets killed until Ritsu saves him. Yeah.
Because he followed the path of destruction, kind of piecing it together. It's like, that's my brother's bag. It's like our friend who is now naked in the street. I'll give him my jacket. I mean, not really going to help the whole downstairs situation, but it's better than nothing. But yeah, Ritsu has shown up, and he's trying to talk sense into him. He's trying to get through to him because he realizes that this is the part of you that when you closed yourself off to me when we were kids, after the first time something like this kind of happened. Yeah, the first time you could hurt someone with your powers.
Yeah, it's as well, like, it was him kind of showing off his powers that, he was showing off to Sabomi, the girl he's been programmed now to go and give flowers to, no matter what force stands in his way. Mm-hmm. That was it, but you kind of got bored of that, and I kind of turned him down. It's like, you just can't reinforce them so many times then, and then when someone got hurt over one, saying, these powers are a bad thing, you shouldn't have them. So if we spent kind of 3 series of this like animated TV series now trying to build his fucking thing back up again.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, that's kind of fun cracked again. Or when building back up, but it's now it hasn't like addressed the actual underlying fucking fear, anxiety he has of I have so many friends right now, and I have so many like things I've achieved myself. I'm trying to get a hot bod, and I was going to go press to a girl. I was going to like do it properly and just take it whatever it does. But maybe it's still not enough. Maybe it's still like that fear is still in me now. If they saw what I actually do with these kind of powers, like would they just project me again or turn me away?
And it's interesting to see like Ritsu's kind of outlook on it, because obviously he's looking at this monstrous version of his brother as like, you're still my brother, and that's I'm gonna save you. But you've seen Mob on the inside going like, Ritsu, that's not me, that's the different guy, do not see that as me. And the contrast with the outline of Mob that we see later, which is like, oh, you're the fake me, you're Mob, yeah, you're the me that I made, and I'm gonna turn back into you by the fucking end of this. I'm gonna be the real me.
Yeah, it's like Ritsu. It's like he's half right. He's part of the way there.
Yeah.
Mob is saying that's not me because he's denying it. But he's like, nah, you got to accept this fucking thing of yourself, otherwise you'll never be able to do this. Yeah, it's going to end with the fun city is being fucking destroyed. He'll come in there and probably in rags, and then it's just like she's still there on the bench, Now the clouds have parted. He's there. He's fucking. I know he's fucking. Big shrug exploded off. Maybe
He's
it
got
looked like
most of the bouquet, so you know.
maybe it looked like really like kind of like rugged and cool, all kind of cut up like that. Now really make a swoon of fun saying, "Oh, bah, no fun. Those powers won't ship. You're kind of pretty chiseled right now and pretty rugged. I could go for this."
That sounds like the super happy ending. Yeah. I think this is going with something like that. But I did like that we hear and see the little percentage thing ticking up, and then it's like, oh, this is Ritsu's fucking meter, and it's like I was made for this moment to help save my brother. This is what all my powers were given to me for. And it's like, can't do it though. Still not strong enough to do it.
So it's gonna have to be the guy who's got no powers at all. And
who's ran past the police.
And his buddy with an umbrella.
He's the only dude who could tell him no. He's the only dude with the authority in his life and fun. Even above his own parents. He wanted to take it from them. Yes.
Who has more authority than your parents? Your boss. And based on the next episode's title, it seems to be something like he's going to come clean. He's going to tell the truth. It's like, hey, Mom, I got nothing. I got no powers. I'm really good. I'm not. Is he even a good liar? He's convincing sometimes. How about that?
He's convincing. Yes. He's very good at reading people.
Yeah.
And he's convincing just middle-aged women.
It pays the bills.
Yes, he's attractive to middle-aged women is the thing they pointed out. I think I guess that's the wrap up for the series. I don't know if there's anything. Is it the wrap up or is there 13 episodes in this? Is it 12 or are they going to do an OVA to do like an epilogue?
They're doing a bonus one.
Could do,
yeah.
This is going to be like this is it. So if I don't want to do anything special, now's the time to do it.
Yeah. Right. Then it is finally Lupin 0, episode 1.
Oh, yeah.
Young Lupin meets a wolf, in which we meet young Lupin. He's a kid at school, and then he runs into another kid at school who never shows up. It's young Jigen.
And Jigen was there. I enjoyed this, but I kept asking myself as I was watching it, is any of this necessary? You know, that kind of way. It's just like, do I need to see where they came from? I'm enjoying it.
It's referencing lots of stuff out of the comics, which is about young Lupin. I don't think there's a young Jigen there. I think that's just an extra bonus for you, because it's quite funny for there to be a kid who has a pistol.
It's like that's the bunch of bullies have shown up from another school to beat up Jigen, but he's never in school. Oh, here he is. It's like, come on, Jigen, we'll kick your ass, and he fucking shoots all of their motorbikes and bicycles. And it's like, Jesus Christ, that child's got a gun.
Well, it mentions the scroll up in his past, so he's lived all his life on battlefields. No, to the extent that this was his father who was dragging around since he was a child on battlefields. So he quite pocketed his share of guns when he was there.
He was out of school so much because he's at war zones currently shooting people for a living. Yeah.
Also because this is a net anime, it's just like they're just going to indulge the worst behavior that children can do.
Smoking, drinking, because Lupin is a rich kid, you know. He's like, hey, he's running like the fucking one little like the gambling scams up by the roof of the school and getting the money and taking his friends out, you know, to the cabaret club for
with the cabaret
cocktails
club
and cigarettes.
The club Niagara, where the logo looks like the band Chicago's logo, but with Niagara in the Chicago part of it. It's quite odd.
It's legally distinct.
It's got a big C and then Niagara. It's like that's just
Niagara.
Yes. Which is where they run into a showgirl in trouble, Yoko.
What she done doesn't matter. You always have to protect your women from gangsters, even if she's probably funding the Cuban Revolution. Never mind about that. Let's not look into that.
Let's take her home. And then get into trouble, get on a sinking boat.
I like the way your one doesn't even ask. It's like, what's the deal with that fucking songstress and that young child with a gun you have? It's like, where did you get that car? I stole it from the mafia. It's just like,
the Maid is well used to this, you know. Even like, you know, having the kind of thing like when Yoko's on the phone to her contacts. Yeah, I'm making the drop right here. You be there at that time. And she's just kind of walking on the tea tray, and it's just like writing without looking under the tea tray on a bit of paper. It's like, that's really cool.
Doesn't miss a trick, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Dad Lupin, Lupin the Second, no, Lupin Junior, I suppose. This wants to be in the straight and narrow, none of the Steven business. But we know old granddad, he's right, he's minding Lupin, young Lupin for the week, and he's trying to show them how to pick locks and all that business like that. He wants out. And Lupin doesn't want his life without Vermont, something like adventure for forge my own way, man.
So yeah, the songstress decides to pay him back with a song, which, as horny young boys, they're just like, yeah, that's pretty fucking good, honestly. So we get a musical number, but then when she decides to leave, she immediately gets kidnapped, and Lupin's like, how dare they pull a heist right in front of me? Ooh, I'm so mad. I'm gonna steal a boat and get her back.
Which they do, but not without sinking the boat in the process.
Well, they sink it and then beach it, so a little bit of both.
And then he tries his first cigarette.
Oh, that's smooth.
That's why Jigen fucking sounds like that, because he's been smoking since he was, what age are they? 10?
He's in the middle school uniform.
Yeah.
Right. I also, the Lupin gangly body proportions work much better on a child, I will say. I was just like, yeah, that's what a child looks like, all like stringy limbs and shit.
And because he's still ill, we've got a different composer. Yoshihide Otomo is the composer on this Lupin.
Yep. Really leaning on all the old motifs from the first series.
Yeah. It's I quite like the music. It sounds like Lupin, but it also sounds different enough to seem like new music as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant to check it when I got home the day I watched it, but I couldn't tell if it was the quality of the Wi-Fi connection at work. Does this have a look over it where it looks like it's older than it actually is?
Yeah. They made the lines nice and thick and rough, and they also have a color burn going in on a bunch of the lighting fixtures and that kind of shit.
Vaguely piss yellow kind of sheen to it.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're just looking at an awful screen and altogether, it was definitely going to look like older than it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's got a piss yellow sheen all the way through.
That sounds a little much. Yeah.
There's a lot much. Yeah.
That might be a you problem there. Same composer as Inu-Oh.
That film sounded great.
Yeah.
It looked good too, but mostly it sounded good.
Improvised music from Japan is his website. Okay, so I guess he's a jazz man.
So I figured we were getting Child Lupin, but I didn't realize we immediately get Child Jigen with a gun. So I assumed there's going to be a child samurai and a child femme fatale at some point. Just a little peek, but Jigen seems to be a constant. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I think in most versions, the common factor for they meet Goemon, he was sent to kill Lupin, but he can't come inside.
Yeah, but they might head to a place where there happens to be a young samurai.
Yes.
You know
then if you want to find out more about Fujiko, you want a woman named Fujiko Mine, which has an entire backstory. Oh wait, is that true?
That's right, yes, which plays into the fact that Monkey Punch then retroactively made some women who weren't Fujiko in reprints and things. Because drawing the same women the same way. They've released some art for some promotional art for the Lupin versus Cat's Eye. There's Poo Poo Molcar promotional art for Lupin.
Lupin driving a fucking Molcar?
No, it was Lupin and the sisters being chased by one of the patrol Molcars.
And not even as any guy hanging out the side of it shouting at him. Come on.
I don't know if it did, but yeah, the
plastic one.
Yeah, it was Lupin with one arm round Fujiko, one arm round, I can remember the names, the middle sister.
Jigen.
No, the middle sister. Right. Then it's the younger sister, basically embarrassing Goemon by any sort of female contact. And then the older sister and Jigen looking like the mum and the dad. I'm like, what's going on here? Fortunately, the animation for that does not look great.
No.
It's polygon pictures.
Yeah. Then I get things that just today or the day, or it's like Festival of North Star. Okay, it's celebrating its 40th anniversary next year. When they be doing anything special like that, you can't maybe a new film like that. Oh, maybe they could be good. Who made that new film? Who's made the last Fist of Anything property? Oh. We respect this long tradition by shitting all over it.
Yes. God, it's those monkey paws keep on curling up further and further. That is it, though. Apparently, Detective Conan: The Culprit Hanazawa debuts outside Japan on February the 1st. There we go.
God damn it! Another thing for the new year.
And Niall was correct. Uncle from Another World is back, but not on our Netflix yet.
That's okay.
I can't remember. There was like a 2-week delay or something, wasn't it? Before there was a delay before.
There was a delay of like a week. Maybe like no, there was a delay of a week on one of them, delay a week on a different one. There was a delay of 2 weeks on one of them.
Yeah.
And then we hit that one and said, nah, it's just complete breakdown of it. This dude left.
Yes.
We got no one to step in. We all got too much going on.
We'll just stop it until we can restart it.
Tried to animate a complete series with not enough people. Let's have a look. Coming next week, some more episodes of Old Enough. Not anime, but Japanese. More episodes of The Way of the House Husband. Monster is coming to Netflix.
Yeah.
The original one?
Yes.
I assume they're not doing a new one. Yeah.
Hajime no Ippo is coming to Netflix.
Okay.
I feel like definitely should have been there sooner.
Yes. Any more? There's lots of workout videos coming the first week of January.
What Hajime no Ippo?
That's a good time of year to put those up. Yeah, that makes sense.
Brown and Friends CG anime. The bear
Korean
mascot, yes.
Korean messaging mascot characters. We have a keyring of one of them.
Anything coming this week? Knives Out, Glass Onion. Yes, no sign yet of Uncle from Another World here.
Okay.
So
they might be waiting to drop it all at once or something.
Yeah, maybe you got burnt. You just gotta wait for them to finish. New on Netflix this week: Gudetama, An Excellent Adventure. One of my Netflix promoter here. The Seven Deadly Sins movie, which I like the character design. I saw some of the animation, and I was like, I'll give that a miss. I'll just look.
Maybe that Lupin Mrs. Cat's Eyes are bear after all. We're gonna
maybe
a bit harsh in my judgment.
Maybe I'll just look at the character designs.
What amazing stories I might be able to tell with these. Never know though.
That's it. I've got the Giant Robo book, 30th anniversary book, hopefully coming in the next 3 days.
3 days?
Yes. I paid for expensive DHL shipping from Japan.
Okay.
So should not be affected by strikes. Righty-ho, that's it for this week. We will be back sometime in the new year. Yeah, I'm going to say week starting the 9th, because I'm off all the first week of January, so I will not have recording equipment.
Yeah, that's grand.
Let's see. We start on the 9th. Yeah, probably.
Rightio. Have a good New Year and holiday season, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry holiday.
Watch out for this dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Do look out for Murder Santa.
Fact, do watch it. Go to High Dive, watch Vatican Miracle Examiners, gather the entire family round. There's a good chance they'll love it. They'll love it more than anime fans will, I'd imagine, because it's more like a proper pot boiler TV program.
I asked our priest so you can say the older relatives it's okay. You are going to Christmas mass. It's just like we don't put the service up on the telly here, because it's it's cold outside.
Yes. Yeah, the long arcs say miracles don't exist, but they always put in a single episode to make you think, maybe they do. Maybe there is a point for their job they're doing.
I don't know, Father. There's some things out there we can't actually explain. Maybe Stan's doing this.
Right, that's it for this week. Goodbye.
Bye.